Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and as you can tell from the countdown clock, the lesson is about to get started. In case you're new with this, there's a few things I'd like to show you to help you throughout the lesson. So this lesson is about reharmonization. That means we're going to take an existing song and we're going to find new chords to play over the same melody. Now, that means that you're probably going to need to already know about chords and keys and probably intervals, and probably have already several songs that you can play well enough that they actually sound like the song. But even if you can't do that, you might pick up some interesting theory bits along the way. So feel free to join us. The goal, though, is not this song. It's not about the song that we're working on. It's really about taking the concepts you like, the reharmonizations, the substitutions that you like from this lesson, and then applying them to other songs that you already know how to play. These lessons are always guided and shaped by your questions, and if you're live with us today, there's a couple different ways you can do that. One is in the public live chat, and the other is the Ask Jamin a Question button, where you can ask me a question privately, and I won't share your identity in case you're afraid that your question is stupid. But it's not. If you're in the archives, though, then just open up the survey. At the end of that, there's a place where you can ask your question. I will say I frequently get questions from students in the archives watching a lesson from 6 months ago, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So please try to be as specific as possible. If you're watching this at LearnPianoLive.com, there should be a PDF and an MP3 button right next to this video. The PDF will often have additional video links inside, so you can get more in-depth instruction on each of the topics. And if you're the kind of person who likes to print out the PDF so you can make the same notes on your physical version as I'm making during the lesson, now would be the time to do that. The MP3 is just a play-along track so you can practice more after the lesson. In traditional lessons, a teacher is going to actually present some new concept for maybe 5 or 10 minutes every couple weeks. The rest of the time is going to be spent applying and refining those concepts. Well, here I'm spouting off hours of new information every week, so it's totally unreasonable to expect you to actually absorb all of that. Instead, the goal of these live lessons is for you to find some little nugget of something that makes sense, but is a bit of a challenge, and for you to go practice it, because practice is where all the improvement's going to happen. So don't feel bad if you have to leave the live lesson when you find that little thing that you're going to practice. And of course, if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind the live lessons or replay in the archives as much as you want. If these live lessons start feeling random or meandering, it's because they are, on purpose. So if you're the kind of person who wants classical training with a step-by-step method, then you're going to want to check out Kloppel Academy on the website. It's included in your live lesson subscription, so you can do both or either. And the upper levels are seriously hard work, but it's going to take you all the way from ground zero all the way up to being ready to enter any major music college as a piano major in classical or jazz. And thankfully, I think that's about all we need to cover before the lesson. So if you'd stick around afterwards and fill out the survey, I would love your feedback. But for now, let's have some fun and make some music. Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and this is our chat moderator and camera operator and everything, our author, the incomparable Kendra.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that entry.
Did I steal your thunder?
No,
Was that good?
that's
okay.
Good.
Okay.
It's great. Thank you.
You usually talk about your books that you're writing. So.
Oh, well, okay. Guess what? I am working on a new story, but I was actually going to say I've read like 5 books since the beginning of like this super long spring break or whatever you want to call it. And 2 of them were like over 700 pages. So, I mean...
Wow.
Either I'm spending too much time reading or I'm like super accomplished.
I don't think that's a thing. I think a lot of people are going to emerge from this with a lot of extra skills. And I know a lot of people have signed up for piano lessons. These are crazy busy right now. And everyone's kind of like, hey, I got a bunch of time. I might as well make myself a better person. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, let's try this song, which seems really oddly appropriate or inappropriate. Imagine. Which has been a nemesis of mine for a long time, philosophically, but it's a pretty tune, so whatever. We already did the tutorial on how to play this the right way, so I'm going to play that along with Kendra singing the melody here, and then we're going to go mess the whole thing up. So let's try that just so you get an idea of like what the original is. In case you haven't heard this before, or you hear this and you're like, oh, I want to learn how to play that, then go check out the tutorial lesson on this, but it would sound something like this.
Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to
go ahead and go to the far tablet if you would.
Nothing to kill or die for.
Thanks.
And no religion too. Imagine all the people living a life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one.
And that's pretty much the whole thing. So now we get to go mess it up. Before we do like the official ones and I show you like why I'm picking the chords that I'm picking, I'm going to try to just like reharm this thing on the fly based on a lot of the principles that we talk about and stuff. So we're going to play this again. This one is not going to get replayed because I have no idea what I'm about to do and I'm not going to remember it afterwards, but just give you an idea of what we'll be able to do once you kind of internalize some of these mechanisms. It would sound maybe something like this. Yikes. Yeah, with the track.
Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living a life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one.
Okay, that wasn't great, but it gives you some ideas, and there were a couple little cool things in there. So let's talk first about what we're going to do to just begin like the baseline of reharmonization. First thing we want to do is play the exact same thing, but add 7s and 9s and 6s, which are also 13s to all of our chords. So that means instead of playing a C here, I would play a C with, this is the 1, the 3, and the 5. So if there's 1, 3, and 5, that would be the 7. That's because I'm counting all the notes in between, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the way that I tell which black notes or white notes to use is I just follow the key signature. So in this case, the key signature is nothing. There's no sharps or flats there at the beginning of the song. So that means I'm allowed to play just all white notes. So I'm going to play 1, 3, 5, 7, and then probably add the 9 in too, just because I like the 9. So we can play as many or as few of those as you want. If you want to throw in like the 13 or the 11, the 11's a lot harder to throw in, so that's why I kind of just said throw in the 7 or the 9 or the 13, and I skipped over the 11, but the 11 is an option as well in a lot of chords. So we've got the regular chord, the C chord, with the additional 7 and 9 and 13, or as few of those you want to put in, and then do the same thing with the F, so 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and then maybe the 13. So just playing the C chord and the F chord back and forth like we were doing at the beginning, but now with these additional extensions on there, we'd go through these here. Let's see here, the F, that'd be an F with a 7 and 9, and then a C over E with a 7 and a 9. Like, that would be the chord. And then the D minor, again, there's a tutorial on each of these like original chords. So this is just like the expansion pack here. This is a D minor with a 7 and a 9. And then F over C, like that'd be F with a 7 and a 9 over C. And then G, it's really kind of a G over B, but we could do that. We could add in the 7 or the 9 or the 13. That'd be fun. Like that. So then I'm just gonna play the exact same chords, but add in 7s and 9s and some 13s in here. So this, I haven't actually reharmed anything at all. I'm just playing the same chords with extensions. It's gonna sound like a jazzier version probably of the original thing. So that would sound something like this.
Imagine there's no countries. Imagine all the people living a life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one.
So I haven't changed a single chord. I just went up and added 7s and 9s to each of those chords. So that's kind of a baseline, not an actual reharmonization, but just kind of a recolorization maybe of the chords. And then the first thing that we're actually doing, yes.
I clicked on the thing already. So it's time for the feature of the day, which today is the quote of the day.
Quote of the day today comes from Miles Davis, and it makes no sense at all. You can look up Herbie Hancock, Don't Play the Butter Notes, and watch the video of Herbie Hancock explaining this thing. So what happened was Herbie Hancock, great jazz pianist, was playing in Miles Davis' band. Miles Davis is a great jazz trumpeter, and Miles, he's Herbie's kind of struggling through this stuff, and Miles Davis comes over and he's like, "Don't play the butter notes," and walks off. And Herbie Hancock's like, "I don't think I understood what he said, but he's Miles Davis, and so I'm just gonna try to figure it out." And he's like, "I think he said don't play the butter notes." So what are the butter notes?
Are they like in between filler notes?
I don't think he said that. Actually, I don't think Miles Davis probably remembered saying anything, and he was probably just muttering. But what was your guess?
Like the in between notes?
Sure. Yeah.
Like the extra, like frilly.
Yes, that was the same
tend to
conclusion
do.
that Herbie Hancock came up with. Like, he's like, okay, cool. So Miles Davis wants me to not play the extra fat in the chord. So what notes could I possibly take out? And he started a lifelong journey of trying to take notes out of his chord that weren't really adding a lot of substance to his chords. And so that's how he came up with a lot of his voicing and stuff. I don't think any of that was either it didn't happen or Miles Davis was not actually trying to do anything. But he kind of had a reputation of doing that, like just messing with his band members to put them in weird, awkward positions to like force them to be creative with stuff. And then had that air of like, of course, Herbie Hancock didn't feel comfortable asking Miles Davis what he said or what it meant, because then he would just probably said, "Don't play the butter notes, you idiot," and then like make him feel bad about it. So never asked him, never clarified it. But it's funnier to hear Herbie Hancock tell the story. But anyway, that to say, one of the things that came out of that situation was just really cool voicings. And when we're playing this stuff, especially when we're playing such full chords like we are today, where we've got the 7s and the 9s and the 13s, we really want to ask ourselves, what can we take out of this? Because we end up playing like these massive chords and stuff, which is cool. That's a style on its own. But probably most pianists start out with like a note, and then after that we learn a chord, and then after the chord we like add extensions, and pretty soon we're playing like these big full, like this is just a C major chord with a 9 and a 7 and a 13 like we talked about, but this is 6 notes. That's like 6/7 of the entire scale. It's almost the same thing as just going like that. Like, here's my C chord, and here's my F chord. Actually, I kind of like that. Bummer. Can you play the track? Of course. Bummer. This sounds really cool.
Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too.
Okay, so that actually kind of fits the song. So that's a terrible example. But what was supposed to be proving is that you really wanted to get like these really nice crisp harmonies and stuff. Take more notes out of your chords. So playing just the most important notes. In most cases, that's the 3 and the 7 of the chords, and that'd be a great place to start. Is to just try playing, like, instead of playing a full-on like C with a 7 and a 9 and a 13, maybe just the 3 and the 7. That's beautiful. And then the F. It's like a really nice, simple harmony there. So try that, just roots and the 3 and the 7. If you're in Clopple Academy, you're already doing some of this stuff because the 3 and the 7 are so significant. They get their own names. Those are called guide tones. And we get this from this philosophy of, yeah, sure, we can add in as many notes as we possibly want, but what's the most important thing? What do we want to take out? Let's take out the butter notes, even though that doesn't make any sense, and Miles Davis is just a jerk. But he's kind of a genius, and he produced some other geniuses with some of his jerkiness. So anyway, we need to get back to our song after this short break. So sadly, the lesson preview has come to an end, and it's time to say goodbye to everyone watching the free streams. Of course, paying subscribers at learnpianolive.com can continue watching this lesson and several hundred others like it in the archives. So come on over and check us out, and if you like what you saw, at least like and subscribe, and then tell your friends to head on over to learnpianolive.com to start enjoying this journey with us.